Alright, greetings and good morning. Today we will go over the origin of the name of the continent of Africa, with many ethnicities and thousands of languages, many phenotypes. We have asked several times for the etymology and definition of the word Africa from so-called indigenous Africans, but they refuse to relate to us the meaning of this word. But they insist on calling us African Americans. They also insist on calling us black, even though black is not a native African word. So to bring more clarity and end the confusion, we will research for ourselves and relate to the African people while we don't accept the terminology that they wish to put on us. Etymology of Africa, indigenous origin theories. Al-Kebalan, one school of thought argues that Africa was originally referred to as Al-Kebalan by its people long before the name Africa come about. Al-Kebalan is an indigenous term that wasn't given to Africans by Europeans. So far we agree that Africa was given to them, as well as the word black. And once again, this is why we want to double check and make sure that we know the origin of this word. In the book Comedic History of Africa, celebrated Senegalese historian, the late Dr. Sheikh Anta Diop, asserts that the ancient name of Africa was Al-Kebalan, meaning mother of mankind or garden of Eden. The name Al-Kebulan, he writes, was used by Moors, Nubians, Ethiopians, and others. Another school of thought posits that the Dogon, an ethnic group indigenous to the region of Mali, West Africa, defined people across the continent as Afrikaan. Theorists argue that while the term may appear similar, it's unlike the word African because it was created by the continent people and not a European explorer. Africa, as defined as first sun, soul, of course, like El-Kebulan and Africa. This theory also assigns indigenous roots to the etymology of Africa. Etymology of Africa. European origin theories. Other theorists believe that the etymology of Africa traces back to Arabic, Roman, Latin, and even Dutch infiltration of the continent. Arabic definition for Africa. The Arabic theory assumes the Arabic word firk or frik, which means separate, divide, or conquer, is the root for the word Africa. This assigns an Arabic foundation to the etymology of Africa. Roman definition for Africa. Other studies on the etymology of Africa theorize that the spelling and popularization of Africa originated from Romans, who conquered what is now modern-day Tunisia and identified the continent as Africa Terra, the feminine form of Africus, which is Roman mythological deity, meaning the land of the North African tribe Afri. Latin definition for Africa. Another etymology of Africa theory posits that the origin of the spelling of Africa stems from the Latin words affair, which means black or dark, and aprika, meaning sunny, and that is questionable because everyone on this continent is not dark or black. Greek definition for Africa. Still, some argue that the etymology of Africa has Greek origins. Phrike is a Greek word meaning land of cold and horror. When preceded by an a prefix, the word Afrique is formed, which holds the opposite meaning. Land free of cold and horror. This aptly defines the continent and its climate in contrast to European winter. Dutch definition for Africa. Another term for the continent was Afrika. While phonetically similar to Africa, it is believed that the K was substituted with the letter C to make the word appear more European. This is further supported by comparison between Dutch and Afrikaans languages. Afrikaan or Kayan is a language native to South Africa and Namibia. It's partially Creole, which is fusion of multiple languages, but it is around 90% Dutch. The big chance Afrikaan makes from traditional Dutch is replacing the hard C with a K. The origin of the name Africa is topic of debate with many theories, and none confirmed is accurate. Al-Kabalan, the oldest and only name of indigenous origin, meaning the mother. Afruika, an Egyptian word that means birthplace or motherland. Afro-Terra, a Roman term meaning the land of free, a Berber tribe that lived in the Carthage area known as Tunisia. And this wouldn't make much sense because one single tribe should not be given the name of a continent with thousands of tribes and thousands of languages. Afirika, Latin word that may be related to the Hebrew word Ophir, which means rich. And we know Hebrew is not native to Africa. Africus, a Yemenite chieftain who invaded the north part of Africa in the second millennium BC. Afrike or Phrike, a Greek word that mean a land free of cold and horror. Aprika, a Roman word that means sunny. Afar, a Phoenician word that means dust. Apara, a Hindi word that means comes after and can be interpreted to mean a place to the west. So since Greek is actually from Mediterranean and originate in Egypt, is the leper people and the leper colony, we will go with the Greek because it is the oldest and it is what Roman borrowed. And Phrike was personified with daimona, of horror and trembling and fear. She was a mere severe form of Phobos, fear, and Deimos, terror. Although Phrike is not personified in any extant Greek literature, her appearance in Seneca play as horror and a list of common Greek daimons suggests that this personification was derived from a Greek source. The word Phrike was commonly used by tragedians Sophocles Electra 1402, Oedipus Rex 1306, and Aeschylus Prometheus Bound 540. So to make this simple, I simply went and got synonyms for the word horror: terror, fear, trembling, fearfulness, fright, alarm, panic, rascal, devil, monkey, scamp, terror, holy terror. Me being me, not trustworthy of the outside sources, knowing how biased and prejudiced it could be and how they want to make a mockery of the people, I'm knowing that they didn't use it with good intentions and they really meant it. And that is why they named the area Sub-Sahara, so they can show how horrific it was and relating the native people into monstrous or something demeaning. So we have the synonyms as and devil, an evil spirit, a monster, succubus, shaitan, spirit, apparition, nightmare, horror, genie, troll, spook. So coming from an outside source of Greek, we can see how they would view the people throughout the years of prejudice and the land being so horrific and unsuitable, tremor, shivering, horror. And when we look at the synonyms of these words, we can easily see that monster, freak, and something terrifying would suit the environment and how outsiders would view the people that they had really no knowledge of, and to this day they consider these people different and abnormal. And freak is very similar to Africa and freaks of nature. So this will be selected as the origin of the word Africa.